their phones, but this is old school. Like it's just weird to pull my phone up. Anyways, so I'm just gonna give you an introduction of who I am and kind of how I got to where I am now. So I was minding my own business, as I always do. Yeah, right. So my name is Shelley Larsen. My parents are Jean and Anna. They're the two in the back. Look at them, there they are. The two grumps in the back. And I am the second oldest of 5. I am the oldest daughter. I was born and raised in Southern California. And I grew up with a huge music influence in my life. My dad plays guitar. He was in a band, a country band. My mother, he sings too. My mother sings and plays the piano and organ, or played. And we had always had music playing in our home. So every Saturday we were woken up very abruptly to the Stones' Start Me Up, cranked up because it was time to clean. I'll talk to you guys about that one later. Anyway, so like whether it was going to work with my dad or whatever it was, he was always singing. My mom always singing, always music. She loved George Michael, and just, you know, my dad loved all the old country and Hank Williams, and just such a diverse world of music, which a lot of people don't have anymore these days. And so as I was growing up, I never took dance lessons. I had a little bit when I was 5. I did tap and, you know, the tap ballet combo. I was featured in the newspaper as Dee Dee Valenzuela. I don't know if they had the wrong name or the wrong kid, but there I was. I was just in my tutu. I was like, whatever. And I did a little bit of Sunshine Generation, which is theatrical and performing and, you know, the whole, and I loved it. I loved it. So from there, other than that, I tried Lakota dancing. My mom put me in it. Little did she know you had to have a little heel and not tennis shoes. So I tried a Lakota dance in tennies, and you just hear this like you're playing basketball. That did not work. So that didn't last, but I used to go to jazzercise with her growing up. Other than that, there was not a trained dance experience. So grew up choreographing music. Crisscross will make you jump. So we were always choreographing and just doing stuff without anything but what we felt or what was inside of us, what we saw, what we felt. And so as we grew up, I got married at a very young age. I was 18. I was still in high school because I had to get married because I loved them so much, right, Mom and Dad? Anyways, and we ended up having 4 beautiful kids. They range now from 26 to 18, and I'll be a grandmother any day. So I know, and it's a girl. Yeah. So anyways, as we're going through this thing called life, we moved to St. George in 2003. We had lived in Provo for 6 years, but it just wasn't a fit for us. It was too cold, and just things were not quite what we had hoped. And so we kind of moved back and forth to California, Utah, and made this our home. So that was 2003. It's been almost 20 years. And upon that, you know, you have friends, you go to church, do whatever. You did that filled your daily lives of things to do, you know, football and dance for the kids and just all the different stuff. So my ex-husband had moved us in 2008 to New Mexico because we were doing an MLM, multi-level marketing, and I was doing stuff here that they hadn't seen before, because when I get passionate about something, it's done. Whether it's a person, whether it's a chore, an object, a creation, there's nothing or no one who could stop me. A little bit of obsession, if you want to call it, because I'm so focused. And I won't say who I get that from. My mom points to my dad. Anyway, so my ex says, the grass is greener on the other side. You know, we can do this. It's wide open. Nobody's doing anything. Let's go. So dragging my feet to leave all my family behind, I moved. Ooh, whenever I talk about family, it was the worst year of my life. I was miserable. My world was rocked. I used to lay on the ground crying because I wanted to go home so bad. I met some really ugly people there who seemed to use me as their verbal punching bag.
I felt so alone. And a year later, I said, I want to go home.
Tissue behind you.
I do. So, 1 year, so the 4th of July, we moved into New Mexico. There were fireworks. My kids thought they were for them. They were celebrating us moving there. Like, Mom, is this for us? Yeah, it is. And a year later to date, we moved home. I was 220 pounds, which for being 5'2" is a lot. I had high cholesterol, high blood pressure. I was depressed. I had lost my spark. I lost everything that I ever knew to be me. It was gone. I had so much hate and anger in my heart. It was totally like you look in the mirror, and that was the first time I didn't recognize myself. We had to move back in with my mom because I wanted to come home so bad. I had nowhere to live. I just told my ex I wasn't going back. We were supposed to go back. I never went back. He loaded the U-Haul by himself and came back here. So, as time goes on, 6 more of us living with my parents, and my sister and her family lived there too. We were the traditional Hispanic family at the moment. My sister sends a text and says, there's a Zumba class tonight. Who would like to go? There were 10 of us that received the text, and I was the only one who showed up. I had no idea what to expect. There's a room about this big. People in there were happy, laughing. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe it was some African dancing or something. I didn't know what it was. And like I told you guys before, this really tall cheerleader girl walks in, almost skips in. So happy, and she's like, hi guys, are you ready? And I was like, what is this? But I made sure I had my spot in the front of the class because I wanted to be a part of the action, right? The second the first song started, I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. That night I went home, I had realized I had found a new love. I continued to go to as many classes as I could. There were times I would crawl into bed because I had such bad shin splints. I was extremely, like I said, overweight for my frame. I didn't know I had Dan skin shoes, which are Walmart brand, and those aren't good when you're bringing it here and doing all this stuff. You should have some Nike, so I would crawl, not knowing why my shin splints hurt so bad. Dang Dan skin. Anyways, but I had noticed a difference in my body language, in the way I felt. I found myself at the gas pumps just rocking like, and I just, for once in I don't know how many years, felt like Shelley. I wasn't somebody's daughter, even though I was somebody's wife, somebody's mom. I was Shelley. And from that moment, I made sure I was at every class. I was always there in the front row, getting a part of the environment and just absorbing everything I could. And so the girl was leaving out of town, the instructor, and asked me to sub her class. And I looked at her, I said, what? Mind you, you'll see the picture of me. I didn't look like an instructor. In my eyes, I didn't look like the instructor, but she's like, I said, me? You want me to sub? And she's like, well, yeah, you know all my stuff. You know all the routines, and people like you. And I was like, really? Okay. So she's like, let's go ask the front desk. And asked the front desk, and they said, she's like, I would really like her to sub my class. They like her, they know her. The girl at night doesn't know any of my stuff, my routine. I think it'd be great. So anyways, they say yes. So I go home and tell my sister, Heidi, I'm gonna sub a class. We should put something together and choreograph something. She's like, wait, what? Because she invited me, but she couldn't go in because she didn't like some of the stuff. She was like, and she got busy. So I kept going. She didn't. She'd come when she could. So we choreograph something, we go. They love it. There's a lot in between. End of that story is the girl who taught at night was dismissed and I was given the position. And that's where it took off. So I went from 11 people once a week in my class to 11 classes a week of 50 plus. The owner told us this is November 9th of 2009. Told us we had till the end of January 31st of 2010 to be certified. And I went and got certified. My little full self went and got certified. And you look around and you're like, well, I don't, you start comparing. I don't look like them. I don't look like, whatever. And I remember as we're talking about finding your drum and healing through rhythm, I remember talking to the girl who was world known Zumba wise. I'm talking millions of people knew who she was. And she is from Utah. And she was there certifying us, do certification. And I told her, I said, I was talking about being unhealthy and my weight and where I had been. And she looked me right in the face and said, I'm sorry, I can't relate. I bet that's hard. And I just looked at her, I was like, okay. So then I took my little picture of my certification and my sister and I started running. We wanted to find our own rhythm and be our own rhythm because we were born out of the box. We were not born in a box. We were born out of it. And that's thankful to my parents for that because we watched them do the same. Anything and everything was for others. It was to create memories. It was to create something that people can always talk back about, and they still talk about it 30 years later. A production my mom put on or whatever. So we started with events. And like I said, our classes kept growing, and you would see people walk in. I'll demonstrate. Because they were told about this Zumba class, and then they would walk in because they saw somebody who was fuller standing up there. Wait, you're the teacher? Yeah, come on in. Come on in. Oh my gosh, because if it was somebody who was like a size 2 and nothing was size, I was out of here. And I was like, really? They're like, yeah, but you know what? You're a real woman and you're on the same journey as us. Well, stay. And I got that over and over and over again, where people would line up out the doors to get into the class. We were like sardines, literally, but we were up against the mirror, everybody was with us, and nobody left because of what we were creating there within the community. We created a space that was safe, free of judgment, because I knew how it felt to be bullied and judged to the extent of weight, of whatever. And so I made damn sure you walked in that door and you felt safe. And if you didn't, you were asked to leave. If you did not fit what we were creating for people, you left. And that is where we started as the Latin ladies, my sister and I. And we took it and ran as hard as we could, like I said, with it. We created events, memorable events to dress up and be silly and be outgoing, to invite people, to invite your kids, your families. We were part of so many firsts. The first to the Biggest Loser resort, the first to the 4th of July parade, which I called put together for dance inside of that area. Relay for Life, breast cancer events. I met Sam I was out at a big event we did. We were asked to be a part of. It was always just everything. And we did it for the love of the game. There was no money for it, but for the love of being able to create, again, that rhythm, that drum through healing and through dancing. And it's like, just right now, as we're going down this, I just think of so many people who you never knew what they were going through. You never knew. You never knew how many lives you were touching just by finding and following your own drum, your own rhythm, your own beat in your life. You never knew how many people you're influencing, because to me and my sister, we were being silly. We were being dumb. I mean, we were being just ourselves. But when we are ourselves, our true selves, and we run with the talents that we're given, we can inspire other people. And some of the texts and the messages I have received since 2009 that I never knew little me could make that big a difference has been mind-blowing. And I didn't know I was gonna get, well, I kind of knew I was gonna get emotional when I saw the slideshow my daughter sent me. I was like, damn you. But anyways, it's just, a lot of it has like, none of us are given the same drum, the same problem, the same parents, the same siblings, the same experiences, none of us. So it's finding our own rhythm, our own drum, our own beats to move to dance to express ourselves. Sometimes we just want to be heard, we want to be seen, and we want to know that we are loved and welcomed. And like I said, that was so important to us. To everybody who walked in, I knew your name. Everybody who left knew they were welcome back. Everybody, whoever showed up, could say they had a great time or were treated great. Something that was rare in this world anymore. And at this time, I'm now blessed to work with, we ran with it, and you'll see some of the events. And those were some of the best years of my life. And I remember somebody said, you guys are like, you're an athlete. I was like, what? What do you mean I'm an athlete? Me? I'm an athlete to like the stamina you have and the things you do and your loyalty and your dedication to your craft. You're an athlete. And that has stuck with me because you know, I was Fuller, you know, I've been Fuller my whole life pretty much. And so to me, I guess it's getting out of that image of where it looks a certain way or it walks a certain way. It is a certain way because it's not. Again, it's that variety of being different. So anyways, as that whole period went on, my sister and I, after 9 months of being in a gym, they didn't want to accommodate all the people they had coming into their gym. We had asked them, begged them, we had some ideas, and they said absolutely not. So there was a lady who loved our classes so much, she was healing from cancer. She came in and said, you girls are gold. I love you. You have done you have done so much for me in my life. I want to sponsor a building for you. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? She's like, no, I'm not. You find your building and you pick it, and I will do what I can to put you in it. And I was like, what the heck? So there I am looking, Heidi, look at that. You know, Heidi and I are going everywhere. We got our 100 kids with us, and well, actually my 100 kids, and we're like, we were about to sign on a building. And it just didn't feel right. It did not feel right. And all the renovations, we wanted a place where somebody can say, well, I have kids, I can't. We wanted to accommodate to people, men or women, who need to get out, who might have the kids, who wanted to accommodate to everybody. They had this gut feeling. I kept passing this one building, and I was like, I don't know about that one, I don't know about that one, and I kept going to the other one. Right when we were about to sign, I got a call from the person because I had left a message, and he finally called me back. He says, you can go view the building. So I go view it, and I was like, the angels are singing. I was like, oh my gosh. It's the old Gold's Gym building, the old aerobics room, 2,500 square feet of spring-loaded dance floor. And guess what was underneath? Childcare for $1. So it allowed people to come in, bring their kids, and for $1, they were licensed, they were certified, they were everything that we needed to get going. So we get going at our grand opening. We had 110 people showed up, and we danced. And we danced and cried and danced and cried. We celebrated with the cake. We did everything because it was amazing in 9 months how much you can change your life, even less than that. And so as we continue going, be a part of more events, and like I said, you'll see some there. We have, Julia has actually been with us the longest in this room, besides my family. Miley way in the back. Julia came to us, 2010, 2011, and she was a part of all that. And so many pictures with them in it. You just can't help but smile because you remember the feeling of feeling so loved and so wanted and just like you belonged. And that was us too. Like, we were better than people. It was our place too to feel like we belonged. So anyways, as we're going, my sister and I, after 6 or 7 years, we were done. We closed up shop for a couple reasons. The Zumba world was kind of fading out, and it would cost a lot to rent that building, and we didn't make a dime. Everything we made went back into the building, pay the rent, you know, anything to keep it going, keep it clean, keep it, you know, toiletries that we had to buy, everything to keep it running. And we were done. And my sister and I decided to go different ways. She went her way, I went my own. I worked for the St. George Rec Center, I worked for Desert Palms, and then I stopped, totally. Went into hiding for 8 or 9 years. And about 1.5 years ago, I started having this feeling that I was supposed to be doing something else with my life, and it wouldn't go away. And I kept calling my mom. I said, Mom, the feeling's back. I can't get rid of it. And I would drink. I would try to go places, do things to get my mind off of it. And it wouldn't leave me. But I think it was for that space I was in my personal life, as well as I was supposed to be doing something more. And so finally, my mom said, well, why don't you brainstorm like old school, where you write your name in the middle and everything. What do you like to do anymore? I said, Mom, I don't know. I've lost my way. I don't know who I am again. I don't know. I don't recognize myself in the mirror, because I'd stare at myself in the mirror. It's like, who is that? It's at my eyes, and I would literally just stare at myself, like, who is that? Anyways, and so I just started, I put my name, loves to dance, loves to teach, loves to be funny, and just started, and I said, holy crap, Mom, I think I know what I'm supposed to do. She's like, what? I said, well, I have been teaching to Recovery Center for 1.5 years, because I did come out of retirement, and I came out of retirement because I was asked to do a bachelorette party. Got a little out of control, but that sparked something in me again. So I started teaching, but I was still 9 to 5 at an office job. I did property management, and I worked for an eye doctor. It was okay, but it was sitting behind a desk, feeling so unfulfilled. And so as I started brainstorming who I am, what I'm supposed to be doing, I said, Mom, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I am supposed to be teaching like a mobile instructor, teaching to facilities, to people who have not danced sober or without a drink or smiled in years, who are so, you know, out of that element. They're just trying to recover. So I started calling. I called the lady who had been bringing her people to us. Hundreds of people filtering through my classes. Every 20 to 30 days they switch. And I said, Mom, can I ask you a question? She said, yeah, absolutely. I said, do you feel bringing your students to my classes helped in any way in their recovery? And she said, absolutely. I said, do you mind telling me how? She said, they're more confident, they're happier, they're dancing, they laugh. They know how it feels to be happy, clean, and sober, something that most people have forgotten in that world. And so I said, do you feel that other centers could benefit or would? She said, absolutely. So you know what I did? I called everybody I could think of, every recovery center, every assisted living home, anything where there's music, that can have music, that can be inspiring or healing or bring back memories or times when we were happy. That heart math, bringing it back to those things where we were happy and those moments. So I got yes after yes after yes, and I jumped. I was scared to death. I still am scared. It's only been almost 2 months that I've jumped, and there's been a lot of bumps in the road, but I'm not gonna give up. And I'm a fighter, and I am a warrior in that way, and I might get knocked off, you know, stumble a little bit, but you'll never fully knock me off. And that's just something I have learned about myself through dancing, through rhythm, through my own drums, through experiences, through healing, is I have a lot to offer. And I'm finally realizing and seeing that And so as of today, I teach to, like I said, a couple at memory care, which they're awesome because they have no clue what they're doing. They're so cute. I teach to assisted living floor as well. I teach to 4 different recovery centers. I am a coach here at Premier Fit. And then I have my own Zumba classes that we do here and the other studio as well. So the whole bottom line here is to know that you have something to offer. And when you are your true self and you love yourself and you listen to yourself and that distraction and take those breaths, you will find what you're meant to do. And when you're supposed to be doing something different or bigger, that nudge won't go away. It won't leave until you listen. And I felt like I was being smacked, like, all right, because like smack me upside the head because it won't leave. So that is me. I mean, there's years in between, so much in between that could be filled in. But that is the gist of it, up to where I have been. We all have our own heartache and trauma, and it's just learning from them and, like, again, finding your own rhythm. Because I tell everybody, you don't have to look like me when you come in. Oh, I wish I could dance like you. No, you don't. Just be you. Have a great time. I don't care how you look. I don't care if you do this the whole time. Just move. You have 1 hour to challenge yourself. You have 1 hour to grow. Right? So do it. And to end this, and then I have a video. There is nothing more beautiful than to watch somebody grow. To watch somebody smile, laugh, go from this to this. Go from this to this, and watching themselves in the mirror. There's nothing more beautiful than to see somebody develop in that way. And that sense of self-approval and self-love, and you watch it, you can see it because they turn on. And it has been a blessing to watch so many people shine and find their light again. And it's not because of me, like it's like I didn't make you find your light. I was just a tool. And I am a tool in that sense of helping people create a safe place for them to find who they are. Shake the crap off of what we're told, what we believe, and just feeling free is what it is. So that's me. I'm here, and we'll watch a video so you can see kind of. Oh, I got a question and way in the back.
I was going to say, does anybody have any questions on the video? Any questions for Shelley?
I kind of want to know I kind of want to hear Miley's opinion. Like,
What
have you seen over the years with your mom and dad's?
Getting on your friend.
Come on,
Dad.
come on, just get up in front.
That's Shelley's daughter, by the way.
Yeah.
Spill your guts.
She's definitely, I always tell her like, oh, you look weird, because I'm used to my mom being a little more plump, and I love my mom, like,
Yeah.
just any way she is. And I definitely see her happier, and she's, I don't know, she's definitely changed, and she's not as mean anymore.
This is why I want to.
But yeah, she's definitely changed for the better, and I'm happy to see her happy and doing what she loves, and just I think it's a great career for her.
That's awesome.
I'm just
I got you, boo. Don't worry about it.
And just to
She's
add,
like,
my
"That's not what I really feel,
sister-in-law,
but-"
so these are my parents, my sister-in-law. So on our hike, my sister-in-law she actually does competitions, and she's trained, and she's been a bodybuilder for years, and we actually brought them into our studio. And you want to tell about getting your trash kicked? Well, she was one of them. Who would kick our trash, and we had women who never picked up a weight. Amy does the same, never thought they could do anything, just drilling us in a good way. And just what we did gave so many people jobs. So many, we had belly dancing, hula, pole dancing, hip hop, tap, jazz, ballet. It went from just us like, come on for an hour, to a whole studio, and all those beautiful people we got to have come into our lives in that way.
I have to say that you said that you were just like a tool, and it wasn't you, but it is you too.
Well, thank you.
Because you are just a light when you come in here. We've even seen with our people in this short period of time, just open up, and when they came in and were not smiling, but now they're choreographing.
I love that. That was
So
awesome.
it's been really, really a pleasure seeing you work, because
Thank you.
you definitely are doing what you're supposed to be doing,
Thank you.
so.
It's been awesome being here. Anybody else have questions, concerns? Don't make sure. I know. Yeah, Julia's been with us the longest. Go ahead.
Come on, Julia.
She is.
Oh, okay.
All I know, she's awesome. She's a fun person to be around with. I feel so loved when the first time I went to her class. Like, her and Heidi, they were really good friends and super instructor. They were awesome. I love them.
Thank you. As she's still here.
Yeah. You start growing together as like
You do.
when you have people like coming over and over again, you start living life together.
Right.
So you go through kids and divorces and different relationships and struggles and happiness and all these different
Yeah.
things, and you really become like a life team, a
Right.
life family.
We have a pretty big life family, and some people, like we all do, they'll come in and out of it, but we're always waiting for them when they come back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just that, you know, we'll stand out there, not even talk about anything, and just laugh our heads off, but it's such a healthy release. And that's the one thing I was gonna say too, is like, you know, just being where I remember going so angry, so freaking pissed off, like I just want, it's like, I'm like going crazy. I was like,
This is what you were talking about, huh, Mike? This is what you were talking about.
You know, I'm crazy and I'm mad, and I just like seriously back somewhere we punch, and I could just feel it, like people, and I'm just going. But I'll tell you what, you can never leave how you came. I have never once left. I'm just so mad. I'm like, I needed that. So good. So there's a release. Like we laugh our heads off. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I came. I was not having a good day. And just to go and release and be crazy and silly, and you look and they're making you laugh and they're making you laugh, and it's comedy hour even while you're dancing. To me, that's the biggest thing.
It's just a physical movement, you know.
Right.
It's just such a good relief, and you are able to release emotion through
Yeah,
dance.
absolutely.
So music and movement, you know, it's like they're magical for you.
They're very magical, especially when you learn to do cochina stuff. Well, I always ask people because they'll be getting, I'm like, what? Where did you sickos get that from? And they all say you. I'm like, dang it. Dang it. But anyways, anybody else? If not, we'll push play. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Thanks for your courage.
And thank you and love to my parents.
Yeah.
They're
Dad,
different people.
do you guys have anything to say?
Oh, whoa, no, don't.
Yeah.
I usually have a lot to say,
Oh, geez.
but I don't now.
And you wonder where I get my, that's from that, look at them.
I'll say, I just love your heart.
Yeah.
You have such a passion to help other people, and I think that's what, like, you genuinely care about other people and not yourself, and I think that's what brings people to you. And like, I was only there like probably the first year I started Zumba, and I mean, she kind of did her own thing, but I can just see the happiness that it brings to you by serving other people, and I think it's huge.
Thank you.
You're totally outside that group. You can't stand up there in tears and talk about your experience and the way you did and not know that those were deeply felt emotions and experiences that you had, that you're willing to stand up and share with other people so that they don't feel alone in the world when they walk in the door, you know?
Thank you.
That's a huge thing.
Thank you. And these two cute girls walking in. Oh, she is another, that's Blanca. She is another one. I think she started dancing with me in 2009 or 10. And her daughter Maddie next to her was about 5 or 6.
Oh.
So it's crazy to see them.
Thank you for the cheers.
So anybody
Felt
else?
bad, you didn't want to sit by me, but that's okay.
Okay. Did we just hit play? And this is very minimal. My daughter and I were looking through like, okay, let's just pick up you. So, Sam, how do we?
If you turn it off.
We just have to hit